Oh, hello. William Hann here, host of the podcast you're about to listen to or watch. And just a quick message from me to let you know that we go again. On the 12th of December, we're doing another This Album Podcast live show. We're going back to West Hampstead Arts Club. Last one was so much fun. Oh, my God. But this time round, going to be live music from Potenko and Rob Ball. It's December. We're getting Christmassy. They're playing all the Christmas classics. And then the special guest I've got for the evening is the incredibly funny guy you know from Instagram and TikTok, Ed Jones. It's going to be a riot. Tickets are available. Link in bio, in the description. You know, you can find them. So looking forward to this. If it's half as good as the last one, it is going to be a massive, massive night. Hope to see you there. Onwards with the podcast. Hello and welcome to This Album with me, William Hann. It's the podcast where each episode a guest and I will deep dive an album of their choice. And it could be any artist, any genre, it could be any year. And we are gonna discuss the songs, we're gonna discuss the shows, we are gonna discuss the artwork. But what I really want to know is where my guests first heard the album of choice and the emotional attachment they have to the record. Who knows? We might even have a bit of a laugh while doing it. Well, today, I'm joined by a man whose knowledge of the beautiful game has seen him create a football podcast of such cultural magnitude that even a football ambivalent man like myself had taken notice. Jaap Stam, Kevin Muscat, Craig Bellamy, Jonathan Woodgate, Tony Warner, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Dean Sturridge, David Turker. What do they all have in common? Honestly, I haven't got a bloody clue, but today's guest can probably think of something. He's a comedian, he's the host of the Cultras podcast. He came both third and fourth in a table tennis tournament in Pensby, deciding which version of the truth you want to believe. Frankly, I've heard two versions. And despite a goalpost once falling on him, he still actually seems to like football. It's James Allen!
Thank you so much for having me with him. It was sort of a very obituary like that. And then at the end, I was like, do you know what? I'd kind of like that read out at my funeral.
You're the second person to say that, actually.
Oh, really?
I feel like being at their own funeral. So might have to adjust my intro
Jonathan Woodgate, people crying in the pews as Kevin Muscat gets mentioned. Hands up, I must admit. I did skewer the truth when I messaged you because
Twice?
Yes, yeah, and I do this thing all the time and my wife can hold her hands up to this as well, where I have a habit of telling people the same story multiple times because I've got very limited anecdotes that are funny.
With edited details, though, there were some inconsistencies.
Yes, I had told you that because you have family that live on the Wirral where I'm from in
Correct.
Pensby. I'm not from Pensby, but I frequented there a lot to play football with my dad, (step). And a table tennis tournament at my high school in 2011 where, upon further research, asking friends, I would like to confirm to you now for first time on the pod exclusive.
Here we go. This is big.
It was fourth. There was no
fourth
podium place. I did practice rigorously. I folded the table up because no one wanted to play with me, and unfortunately placed fourth. And it's
a noble effort, though, James.
A noble effort indeed, but a cross that I still bear to this day. And yeah, when I think about I think I may have peaked in high school.
Know that feeling,
I do think back to sort of accolades, and we'll get onto this when we talk about the lead singer of the band. I think back to that moment, and sometimes it will blindside me at 2 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep and go, you should have practiced better, you idiot. So if anyone stopped listening now because of my position in a regional-based table tennis tournament for the 15s, I think you're okay.
I think you're okay there, James. So when you're not coming fourth in table tennis tournaments, what's your vibe? What do you do? Who are you, James?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm laying it on thick early doors.
Polymath of mediocrity. I am stand-up, semi-pro, podcaster, writer, a little bit of acting. Yeah, I said it. And yeah, I'd say those four, the four sort of horsemen of the arts apocalypse.
Yeah, the big four.
Yeah, the big four. Yeah, exactly. I'm in Europe every year, home and away. So yeah, I say I do those.
Always
things.
with the football bowed in.
Yeah, I can't think of another big four. Celebrations, heroes, roses, Quality Street.
The other big four.
The big four of Christmas. Yeah, so I do those things to varying degrees of success and financial viability. Yeah.
Not a lot of money in podcasting, I've worked out.
No, there isn't.
Fucking the off-menu boys have got the fucking the market cornered, haven't they?
It's crazy, isn't it? But like, I know people who like do and have secured like ad revenue and such, and also like Patreon. And when you look at that, it's like wow, fair play. But yeah, it can be very difficult trying to just secure like entry level sponsorship. Sure. Like we've had a lot of sort of under 15s football teams and like local football teams be like, can you just like wish our lads the best on the weekend? I don't know why you want a scrawny 28-year-old nerdy football fan going, come on lads, you've got this. I'm no, rabble rouser. I can't, I'm no Churchill. But I tried my best, and I think they ended up losing. And I'm not
fourth, I heard.
Up on further investigation. Yeah,
that was third or fourth.
Oh God, I'm so sorry about that. And yeah, you mentioned the goal falling on me as well.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I should probably add, that is the exact goal pitch behind my dad's house.
No way. Well, I apologise if any footballs were kicked into his garden.
Oh, there's been plenty over the years. Don't you worry about that.
Via me or my stepdad.
Or your fourth place friends.
Fourth place friends. That's a good name for a band, that.
Fourth place friends. Not a good band, but a good name of a band.
Yeah, like a sort of... They'd be featured in The Enemy in like a sort of up-and-comers for one issue. And you'd never hear of them again. Big in Wrexham.
Yes, yeah. Or some sort of regional town.
And then just never heard of. I played with him, because that was sort of my dream, like sort of to prove to him. And I didn't need to do this. It was purely on my own like volition, but I wanted to prove to him that I could be good at football. Spoiler alert, I'm not. And he let me play with some of his friends, one of whom, fun fact, I got invited on a stag do at 15-year-old on a stag do. And I denied the invitation because I was too busy playing FIFA with my friends. And my dad phoned me up and went, "You'll never guess who's on this stag do. Only Philip Selway, the drummer from Radiohead."
What?
In the curry house.
You missed out on a spectacular opportunity of a member of Radiohead.
And I put disconnected from my Xbox and just looked at myself in the mirror and went, you are an idiot. This is worse than the table tennis tournament. I had questions. I was like writing down questions, begging my mum to drop me off. She's like, you can't join a stag do midway through because they'll all be drunk. I'm like, no, mum, I need to ask him if he actually enjoys playing Creep or if they genuinely hate it. Side note. Anyway.
I want to go back to something you just mentioned, though. You said it's something you said really rings true with me, actually. You said about how you weren't good at football, so now you've started a football podcast.
Yes.
There's a comparison there to me not being good at music.
Oh.
And starting a music podcast.
Were you in a band?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I was in a couple of bands.
Oh, cool.
Zero enemy coverage, I'll have you know. But we had a lot of fun.
Nice.
We had a lot of fun.
What were some of the names?
The first band was called the Bessing Bees.
That's nice.
Yeah, there's a park in Ruislip where I'm from called Bessenby Park. Named ourselves after that. Pretty cool name. A lot of people seem to put too much emphasis on the B's part. It was like BYS.
Right.
But a lot of people, the misspelling of that name was really quite marvellous when you'd walk into a small Camden pub and go, yeah, they've done it again. And then the second band was called Mr. Kites. All one word. Not a great name.
I don't mind that.
You don't mind it?
I don't mind it.
Don't mind it? Again, the spelling of that was a disaster every time because we didn't spell it Mr. M-R. It was one word, Mr. M-I-S-T-E-R-K-I-T. We made a mistake.
Oh,
we made a mistake, James.
Like Mystic as in like...
A lot of people did.
Oh, okay.
Would that have been a better name? That's not for me to say, James. I can't change the sands of time. But we had a lot of fun. It was good. And then it wasn't, and we stopped. What? And then, the trajectory goes 10 to 12 years of absolutely nothing. And then, podcast.
Yeah.
It's a tale as old as time.
To talk about, memories.
Yes.
What year would this have been, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind you asking.
Okay.
What an unpersonal
Sorry.
question that is. First band was 06 to late 07, and the second band sort of followed that until, I guess, 2009. We got good towards the end, but by that point, your mates can only come to so many Camden shows on the Tuesday night before they go, yeah, but I want to do something else in my life rather than watch you play to 20 people again on a good day. You know what I mean? So it reached its conclusion, but we had a lot of fun, James.
You were in the thick of the...
thick adjacent, I'd say. Yeah, we were. We just weren't good enough to be in the mix, but we had a good time. It was fun. So tell me a bit about the Cultras football podcast, please, James.
Okay, so Cultras began with me and my friend Fionn having a chat about the current state of football, and we weren't very happy with So I suppose, like many football fans, aren't happy with the modernisation of it. Apologies. With the modernisation of it, and it got to a point where there were a couple of examples. Like, one is this thing called like XG, which is like the stat that has no relevance on the game whatsoever, which is expected goals, and it just convinces people who've lost that they have a winning argument, which is absolutely stupid. And then VAR and a lot of I don't want to be too catty, but a lot of influencers or social media people who were sort of being paid large amounts of money to say things that they didn't agree with but would generate traffic on certain media outlets' websites. And we were like, this is awful. Don't we remember when, 20 years ago, where things were a bit better as a nation, football-wise, culture-wise? And that's how it spawned. It was like, right, the sort of Barclays era, which was sort of 2001 and 2 to like 2015-16 is the era that we remember most fondly, and other aspects more than others. And then we thought, is there maybe a gap in the market for a podcast that can talk about that? And we thought, hell, why not go for it? And then last year we did a #Barclaysman World Cup, which was just like, it's the podcast for people who want to chat about football at 3 a.m. at a kitchen in a party. It's just shouting out random footballers' names and going, I remember him. Do you remember? Oh, he was at Wigan. I had no idea. Yeah, it's that podcast, basically. Sure. And then, we did like a World Cup during an international break on Twitter, and then that just like snowballed. And then, we got nominated for a football content award, which was amazing. Nice. Spurs' ground. And it's just kind of snowballed into this like lovely little thing that we get to just chat about something that we like, and there's no opinion about it. It's not like West Ham's defensive strategy is all over. It's like there's people who cover that enough, and we don't need to do that. This is just for us to sit down and go, do you remember Julian Fauber, or do you remember Michael Chopra? And for some reason, a lot of people seem to like that. Yeah.
People don't like science nerds. I think that's kind of the idea of my podcast. Very unclinical, unscientific.
Yeah. It's just lovely to talk about things subjectively and emotionally.
Yes, exactly. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
This is what we're about.
And you find more resonance with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. You could tell me that...
The human being behind it all,
Exactly. You could tell me that Stars of CCTV by Hard-Fi didn't sell as many copies as, I don't know, Rihanna's Day. I don't care. I love Living for the Weekend.
In a metaphorical sense or a literal sense?
Both. At the minute, I am living for the weekend. Help. But yeah, I think it robs you of any enjoyment. It's just like, so Southampton had more possession of the ball. I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
No.
I'm bothered about shirt sponsors from 2004.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And how
I do think Liverpool's kit was best when Candy was sponsoring them.
Yes.
And bring back the Accrue away kit.
Exactly. Even though that sponsorship ended 7 years before I was born, it was still good.
That's good gear. Tell me a bit more about your acting and what you do in that realm, please, James.
I can summarise this in like 10 seconds.
This will be quick, go on.
Not a lot. But what I have done, I was recently in a short film by my good friend James Kennedy, who I've collaborated with a couple of times.
The two Jameses?
He's the two J's. I can't think of it.
Like two Jameses in a pod?
Like Scorsese and De Niro. I actually, football related, actually auditioned for a pilot he was directing in 2019. It was like a mockumentary about a football team that weren't doing very well. It's called the Albion.
I think I've heard of this. Actually,
Simon's dad, Martin Trenneman from In-Betweeners, was in it, from Phone Shop. Lovely fella. And I auditioned for that, got it, and then got to be in that. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really nice. I quite like this. And then I've popped up in another couple of things that he's done, which has been quite nice. But other than that, very limited. I had an audition for Farm Foods last year.
Hey-o.
For a Farm Foods advert. I'll give you I had to open the door and go, smells nice.
I'm sold. That's good gear.
Did not get a call
you
back.
You didn't get it based on that?
No.
Dude, that is shocking.
And then I sort of looked at myself in the mirror and went, you're not even good enough for Farm Foods.
Should we talk about music?
Yeah, let's talk about music.
What's your bread and butter musically, man? What's your vibe? When did you have your musical coming of age?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Thank you. This is plenty more of that to come, don't you worry.
What's going to happen is, and there is a word for this, it's a French word, and I've forgotten what it is, but we will finish this, and the answer I give in an hour's time, I'll go, fuck me, I should have said that. So there's loads of examples. I'll rattle a few off. Being very young and my mum having 2 cassettes in the car, one being Macy Gray, the other being Robbie Williams, and then when she got a CD player, Blur's Greatest Hits, Moby's debut album,
yes,
Gorillaz.
I think every mum had that Moby album for some reason.
Yes, and I don't know why.
No,
because it's good, but it's just like I don't know why. I don't know. I've not asked her this, but there is something quite calming about it. Maybe I don't know. But mums go mad. Mums went mad for Moby.
Mums for Moby.
Mums for Moby. Turn of the millennium, you couldn't move.
You couldn't move for mums carrying Moby CDs. It was chaos and HMV.
Yeah, it filled the gap that Bros occupied,
which no one saw coming.
No,
you know,
mums Moby posters on the wall, getting "Hey, woman" tattooed on their arm. Just what a time. And then,
but you can't go back, James.
I did not think we'd be discussing Moby, and I can't. I've not listened to anything he's done for like the past 15 years.
I saw him do a DJ set at Coachella years ago, and I just remember he was like on stage, giving one of them sort of on his knees, smashing the sort of table towards the end of some big climatic set, and I thought, it's a bit intense, isn't it? Yeah, bit intense, mate. We're at Coachella.
Just do
play
some,
go and get on with
exactly, it. Exactly, yeah, do some samples. And then it would have been probably like, I remember hearing Take Me Out by Franz Ferdinand for the first time at a bowling alley. Back when bowling alleys played music on like TV as well, and this is a thing that is a very niche, I don't know if anyone remembers, is that you would have the TV with your score on, and there'd be like MTV on next to it, and they would just play bangers. The Hives, Franz Ferdinand, Snow Patrol. They would just play like a good mix of like music, and that's when I became a little bit more aware of stuff. But once probably to meet my stepdad, who had like bookshelves of CDs, all alphabetized, and he would just kind of rattle things off. You know, I think listen to Songs of Death, by Queens of the Stone Age because of him. And then by the time I got to like 10, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, the game, is where like I got my first foray into like punk, and I'd say punk and hard rocker were kind of like the nucleus, and then it kind of spawned out from there really. So like I've got a Dead Kennedys tattoo on my leg,
nice,
which they probably would hate. To be fair, they'd be like, that's the least punk thing you can do. Sorry guys, but it's on my body forever now. Bands like Misfits, Black Flag. And then the second, so this would have been like 05 to 07, the second wave of like emo probably. So like My Chemical Romance were well in their pomp. Fall Out Boy, All American Rejects, like bands like that where I was fully like, this is amazing.
So loud guitars are your thing, are they, James?
Yeah, I love a lot of fuzz, and I love a lot of pedals, a lot of distortion.
Yes.
Your Sonic Youths, your Dinosaur Juniors. Love all that jazz. You get a lot of crunch out. And I can't play guitar. I play bass guitar to a very mediocre level, but because I was in a band as well.
Oh, tell me more.
Called Road Closed Ahead, which was a perfect metaphor for our band's musical capabilities. We were
all roads lead to roads closed ahead.
We were awful. We did songs from we did 2 songs from the movie Scott Pilgrim, very influenced by that movie, which is one of my favourite movies as a white man. But it is a good movie, and then we were inspired by that, and we did Plug-in Baby by Muse, which was notoriously hard to play on bass guitar.
And all Muse songs are pretty tricky.
Come on. Just have a day off, guys, please.
A bit more than you could chew there.
I beg you.
Have you heard of a song called Wonderwall? It's much easier.
And we did... what was the other one we did? All the Small Things, Blink-182. And we played second to a band that had written their own songs, which we probably should have done in the first place. But good experience nonetheless. And my bass cut out halfway through. So not that I'm scarred by that
emotionally. I've got plenty of horror stories of things not working and bass strings snapping. Bass strings don't snap.
No, I know.
But they wouldn't ever snap in a rehearsal. They'd snap on fucking stage, James.
Meant to be robust. I didn't even know about the trick where you loop your lead through your strap so that if you
that was a turning point when I worked that out. Whoa.
Oh, Christ. And then I had like a coiled jack lead, which was a game changer.
Yeah, until someone nicked mine. Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Yes.
Just all these things you don't... And then, our star fell before it even rose into the sky, I think. And then, I was probably too young for a lot of those... pretty much for the album I'm going to talk about, I was sort of 9 or 10, so I wasn't fully in the thick of it. It wasn't until sort of 4 years later where a lot of those bands that were established in that era then released sort of second and third albums I went back and went, oh, okay, like this is me as well. I sort of caught the tail end of that, sort of started in sort of 2009, so like White Lies debut album.
Yeah.
Very good.
Got to number 1, released the first week of January, with the idea being there'd be no competition that week.
That's amazing.
And it worked. It probably sold about 500 copies, but that's all it needed to sell.
No, that's great though, because you're right after, because that would have been the year before the Rage Against the Machine Joe McElderry thing. That had been like the last X Factor number 1.
It was a good winter. It was a good winter.
Yeah.
The guitars were back.
And then...
again.
Bring guitars back.
Again.
And make guitars great again. And who else around that time? Oh, Everything's first album, Photoshop Handsome.
Yeah.
I love that album. That's great. Yeah. And then by that point, it sort of carried over this other wave now where like Foals had sort of risen really highly. Foster the People's debut album had come out.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you mentioned what band did you just mention then? Hang on. You said Everything.
Yeah.
Foster the People, Best Coast. There was a good sort of wave of bands at that point, which get really overlooked, I think. It was actually quite a good time for guitar music.
Absolutely.
But the history books don't seem to agree.
No. Vampire Weekend as well on album number 2 by the 2010s.
Number 2 up and early than that, maybe, but it was a good time.
It was great. It was really good. And it felt like, I've missed out on what I wanted to grow up on, but I get to like do it. Yeah, I became a sort of stereotypical like indie kid. The drums, oh my god,
the drums are another good band. Yeah,
this is going to be it now. I'm going off so many tangents where for 40 minutes I'm just going to list. My favourite indie band of all time are The Bravery. I've never seen them live, but they reunited.
Have they got more than 2 good songs?
Yes, they've got 10.
They've got 10?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm listening to on the drive to Manchester after this.
You're welcome. I think that's what I love about it, is that like it's a similar thing to what I just described about our podcast, is like I can just rattle off so many bands from that era, and they could have been derivative to a point, maybe, perhaps.
There's still joy to be had there,
exactly. And again, why would I let stats get in the way of that, or record sales
get in the way of a good chorus?
Exactly. Yeah, it's at 3 chords.
All right, well, look, I think we've touched a lot of ground here already. Why don't you tell us which album we are deep diving today, please, James Allen?
We are talking about LCD Soundsystem's 2007 sophomore efforts, Sound of Silver.
Yes! What an album.
Fan-bloody-tastic.
Sound of Silver is the second album by New York's king of the hipsters, LCD Soundsystem. The album combines the elements of punk, funk and electronica that the band found fame for on their debut record, but on Sound of Silver, these elements are elevated with an emotional heft so monumental that millennials have been regularly spotted literally levitating during the emotional climax of hit single All My Friends. LCD Soundsystem, of course, split up. They reformed. They played all the festivals. They wrote one of the best Christmas songs of all time. They did it all. But it was the magic they captured on this 2007 release that truly imprinted the band into the hearts, minds, and turntables of a generation of skinny hipsters / chubby IT staff. On this podcast, I choose my words carefully, and I'm going to skip the hyperbole and say this in the most literal sense. All My Friends is the best song ever written, and Sound of Silver is quite possibly the very best album ever created. I wish that we could talk about it. Me too, mate. That's why I'm doing a bloody podcast.
That's fantastic.
Good gear?
That's amazing.
Happy with that?
Yeah, you read that out and I realised, gosh, I've got a lot of responsibility now to sort of qualify my
It's a team effort here.
love
Don't
for
worry.
this
We've got
album.
this.
Okay,
We've got
cool,
this,
cool,
mate.
cool,
Don't
cool.
worry. So let's start at the beginning. I think you touched on it a little bit there. 2007. What was happening in your life in 2007, James Allen?
So I would have been in year 5. It would have been the year of my 10th birthday. I was very excited.
The big one.
I loved to brag that the Simpsons movie was coming out on my birthday, and it was, and it did, and I went to watch it on my birthday.
What do you make of the Simpsons movie? I felt it got a lot more flack than it deserved.
Yeah, I think time's been very kind to it, and it's actually really, really good. I think it's something that people maybe didn't want at the time, when I think people thought it had waned, the Simpsons.
Is it the Velvet Underground of movies where everyone that watched it went on to buy
to animate? You got your Bob's Burgers. You got your other ones. Yeah, maybe it's sort of sparked people to have a career in comedy animation. But yeah, I've not watched it for a while, but yeah, I was like,
there's a really funny gag where Homer's on like some sort of like bungee thing, and he hits a massive rock. And he gets stuck next to a building that's called a hard place.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is comedy
That's
gold
really
here.
good.
I think the Spider Pig thing ruined that movie a little bit. Everyone leaned far too heavily on one little clip and missed out on all the really funny things that happen in that film.
Absolutely. When they target the Simpsons house and Nelson has a bow and arrow and he says, "I've got a red arrow, so I know who I kill." That's really funny. Homer trying to dig his way out while giving people a middle finger. Ruffle my hair, Mr. Hanks. There's some really good. There's
good moments,
there's good,
man.
Yeah.
There's good
I think
moments.
a lot of people can be a bit like, I think you'll find that after season 12 it really goes downhill. But
it's like we're saying about those albums from that, like the bands from that sort of late, early 2010s era. There's still joy to be had.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's not quite as consistent, but fucking hell, lads, you're not paying anything for this.
Exactly.
It's a 30-minute TV show.
Lighten
you
up.
laugh 5 times. That's not a bad ratio.
Yeah.
It's not a bad ratio.
It's good.
So other than Simpsons and comedy, was there music in your world at 10 years old, James?
There would have been, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, I was proper into emo at that point. I was having...
And were you dressing in the appropriate uniform?
I had a My Chemical Romance top. I had my nails painted black. I had the GHD straightened fringe.
So how was this going down in school?
Not well.
Not well. You were suffering for your art.
There was no one else really.
No end to the suffering.
There was no one else, and I don't mean this in like, there's no one understood my sorrow, but there was literally no one else. I think people were either, and I went through this phase as well, was sort of, I don't know how you describe it, post streets, like there was a real MC sort of revival.
Yeah, sure.
And I went through a little bit of that with my tracksuit and cap and stuff.
Yeah, same, absolutely.
And then by the time I think I listened to Teenagers or I'm Not Okay, brackets I Promise, off the the second album, I was like, oh, this is a bit of
my
me.
thing.
And I think my stepdad helped influence that at the time as well, from his sort of hard rock background. And then it was just Kerrang and Scuzz 24/7 pretty much. Your nails painted black. I had the thick DC skate shoes, jeans, studded belt, chain, wallet.
So you were making your young life much more difficult than it needed to be, weren't you?
Tenfold. And there wasn't a lot of other people sort of. Yeah, I was like, my friends were
a tribe of one.
Yeah, but I was still like, my friendship group was, at the time, it was all like Flow Rider and T-Pain, Get Like Low, and who else would have been around that time? 2007. Like Mika, Grace Kelly, which is, I love that song. But yeah, there was no sort of... it's strange. It's sort of, I was saying this to my wife, it was like the last, for me, subculture, I think.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's been anything... You get like sort of like a lot of revivals, and a lot of things are quite cyclical fashion-wise. But in terms of a proper subculture, I don't think the emo... And I don't want to say chav, because I think it's a bit of a derogatory term to a degree. But that
But there was a culture and lifestyle around that to a little bit in a uniform, but that's... Yeah, not necessarily associated with music as much as like an emo or an indie or something like that.
Because that was the thing as a kid. It was like, you're either an emo or you're a chav.
Yeah, sure.
In hindsight, I'm like, I don't think that's quite right.
No.
But I don't think you get that anymore.
Well, you've got a different uniform for each different day, haven't you, really? You can pick what dress code you want for that day as opposed to it being your entire personality.
Absolutely.
I think.
Absolutely.
So when did LCD Soundsystem enter your orbit then, James?
Oh, very good question.
Thank you.
I had FIFA 2005, but I knew the song but didn't know who they were. I was still very like...
Daft Punk on that, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. And I was still very like new to music, which I know sounds mad, but as a like 7-year-old, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I like it. And then I got FIFA 11 and Icon changes on there, Office is Happening. And I was like, this is class. And then on Grand Theft Auto 4... Get Innocuous is on one of the radio stations.
That's
this is class. So all of my sort of reference points for getting into them are from other sort of basis of culture, really. Yeah. And then North American Scum is on the opening titles of Step Brothers.
Of course, yeah.
And I listened to sort of those.
It's funny, I sort of forget where they've got these little fingers in pockets, LCD Sounds.
Yeah.
I think of them so much as a record and an album band. They've sold their soul to the devil a few times,
absolutely, haven't they? To a Will Ferrell movie, which is great. And my friend Robin in school had been to New York, and me and him were going to form a band, but ended up being Road Closed Ahead. But he was playing drums and I was going to play keyboard. And the only song we were going to rehearse or perform was My Doorbell by the White Stripes, because that's the only song we could think of that has both of those things in it only. And then he went, have you heard of this song, New York I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down by LCD Soundsystem? And I went, oh no, but I vaguely know who they are. And he played it to me. And from that moment, it was like, boom, like this is unbelievable. And he showed me a YouTube video, and there's no music video for the song, but there is someone as Kermit the Frog on New York Harbour. And then there's a better music video.
I assume that was the official one. Am I wrong?
I don't know if it's that like fan made, but it's amazing. I mean, there's another music video of like New York in the 40s being built while the song's playing. That's really lovely. And then from that moment, I was like hooked. I listened to all of Sound of Silver. I think This Is Happening. They had just come out, blitzed that, and then the debut, and I was like, these guys are phenomenal. And it was a bit of a weird like departure for me, because I was listening to a lot of stuff that was very guitar heavy. Yeah. And I think they do have, obviously, they do have some
element to that, isn't there?
But then it got me into bands like Hot Chip, and I didn't know there was a crossover between them. They formed New Build. A couple of members went into that.
I don't know them.
And sort of adjacent bands and that sort of dance punk era. Like, who's another, like, Data Rock?
Yeah.
Fa Fa Fa.
There was Shit Disco.
Shit, yes. What's that song they've got? Okay, great song.
I Know Kung Fu.
Yes.
Is that Shit Disco as well?
Yeah. Do you remember Does It Offend You? Yeah.
Still stands up, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
And yeah, it sort of got me into that whole... And then that got me into, retrospectively, the whole New York era. So like the Strokes, Yeahs, Interpol.
Yeah.
And then I went, I can't believe I've missed out on that. But I'm kind of getting the second wave of all of those bands maturing and doing second album. So I'm such a nostalgic person, but I'm nostalgic for a time that I know that I wasn't around for.
Nothing wrong with that.
But it was nice sort of listening to these bands. It was nice sort of listening to these bands mature on album 2 and 3 as well. So yeah, I would have been around about 13, 14 when I fully immersed myself into the world of James Murphy.
I think that's the age, isn't it? That's where you really become a musical sponge, don't you?
Yeah, and I think there's bands I listen to and I can go, oh yeah, I like that. But I think there's a core group that I always come back to, and LCD are one of those that I will always, no matter what, like, I can just, they can come on shuffle, I can choose to listen to them, I'll always give it my full attention.
So you mentioned the GHD straighteners and the ridiculous boots. How much of an impact did LCD Soundsystem have on that look you'd manufactured?
Such a good question again.
Thank you.
People are going to think, I keep saying that, people are going to be,
these are good podcasts.
Genuinely,
I'm such a great interviewer.
Just quality podcasts.
Absolutely amazing questions, Frank.
In terms of the look, that's a good question, because I don't know how I describe their style, but it felt very like... So UK in the sort of 2000s, there was this weird thing where sort of like you were getting Regency-based like patterns and wallpapers, but with like, this sounds really weird, but like sort of neon paint being thrown at them, and it felt very like sort of an extension of Cool Britannia in a way, where it was sort of like taking all of those British things. Like I always think of the Libertines and their jackets and stuff, and think like, oh, that was like quite cool. And I don't know what it was like in America, but it felt very like bright and neon-y in certain points.
Might be a bit rose tinted that, I think, James.
Yeah, I'm probably remembering that all wrong.
Creating your own history on that. I think New York was pretty dingy and dark.
Was it?
I reckon.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of those bands that were so like Strokes and was that all sort of not CBGB's-esque, but was it quite sort of?
It was to start
dirty?
with. Strokes definitely played CBGB's. That closed in 2006, I think.
Right. Okay.
There was the what's it called? The something rooms. I can't remember what it's called now. But that does lead on quite nicely. Are you into the Meet Me in the Bathroom cinematic universe?
I haven't seen the movie, and I've read a bit of the book. Someone told me stop reading it because it's terrible, and I went, "No, I'm going to."
I've read it 3 times,
and I went, "No, I'm going to carry on." And then I've just like stopped reading it. But I love the conversational aspect of it, and it's like a goldmine for me because it mentions probably all of the aforementioned bands that I've listed. I think even the Bravery get a brief mention.
Very
So yeah, but I've heard it's like,
honestly,
insane.
Pick up that fucking book again. It is phenomenal.
Does the film do it justice as well?
And some.
Okay,
really,
cool.
really good. I think both do. Like absorb both by all means.
Right.
But it's just phenomenal. Some of the footage they've got on that film is crazy.
Wow.
Like you got your man from Interpol walking through the rubble of fucking 9/11. It's
Holy
like, how
shit.
does this footage exist? And there's the Strokes play a set where they're playing a song I don't know. It's like an unreleased Strokes song.
Wow.
And Nick and Albert are doing backing vocals together, like the Beatles style, sharing a microphone. Like, what?
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's a really good point. That sort of post 9/11, they all sort of. I don't know if it was like a reactionary thing, but
it literally was. They talk about it quite a lot in the book and in the film of like, the world's gone to shit. I don't know what to do. What else can we do? Let's fucking make some music and party.
Yeah.
And
you
write out all right.
You write Obstacle 1.
You write Obstacle 1, mate.
It's an amazing
Onwards.
song.
So get back on it, I think, mate. It's well good.
Cool.
What would be the perfect setting to listen to Sound of Silver, please? I need you to paint a picture here, James.
Walking round a city on the cusp of autumn and winter. And I've done that. When I was at university in Manchester and Salford, I did that multiple times. Very, very calming, very relaxing. And the sound of the album juxtaposed with the foggy urban surroundings of Manchester city centre. Mwah.
Is there a time of day?
I'd sort of say around about 3 or 4 p.m. where it's like the sun's setting, starting to set, and you've still got enough time to sort of, take it all in and have a walk around before you're like, right, I'm going home for the evening, or like I'm going to the pub or something like that. A time I wanted to listen to it and nearly forced myself to was when I went on holiday to New York for the first time when I was 15. And obviously the album even has one of its songs has New York in the title, but it's very self-referential to where they're from. And I was like, I really want to listen to them in New York. But I think when you try and manufacture that,
it's exactly
it
right.
ends up being a bit disappointed. And I didn't have like an iPod with me at the time. I didn't have music on my phone. And I was I was getting like really annoyed because we were walking around and be like, I'm enjoying walking around, but I'd love to like walk into a shop and like someone great's playing. And then we walked into a shop called Lids, which sells hats and like sports caps. And North American Scum came on, and I was like, here we go. I'm going to browse some very expensive baseball caps for no reason. And that song's like 5.5 minutes long. And by
I think of it as one of the shorter ones, but right.
But by sort of 2 minutes into the store, my mum and dad were like, we're leaving. And I was like, I'm just going to stick around because the second verse hasn't started yet. And this guy was like, dude, are you okay? Do you want to help? What's your favorite team? And I was like, no,
James Murphy's talking.
Yeah, I'm just listening. You all right, mate? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm having a great time in the corner. I always thought New York would probably be the perfect setting to listen to it. And then I tried to force a situation where that would be the case and realised maybe that isn't the best way to go about it.
I think the more transportative idea of it's better, isn't it? You're out of the context and imagining yourself in that room and in that city is almost the sweeter way to do it.
I think walking around a city like Manchester
wishing you were in New York.
Yeah. And there's a sort of bits of similarity to that as well. Like it's always expanded. It's always stuff's getting built, and there's always something going on. There is not to sort of sound like a wanker, but there is a bustle, there is a hustle. Like
there is gentrification happening in front of your eyes.
There's
the very thing James sings about.
There's a Joy Division themed bar that's now closed down. It was only open for a year, and me and my father-in-law joked that they sold Love Will Tear and Share as a part garlic bread, but I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that was ever on the menu, but it would really make me laugh if it did. But yeah, it was a Joy Division themed bar, and yeah, that's a very good point actually. Yeah, you mentioned things as well that aren't great, like paying 15 quid for a smash burger. So yeah, I'd say sort of walking around a sort of almost Dickensian-esque setting is perfect for me.
Well, I'm going to recreate that today. I'm going to be in Manchester tonight. It is a crisp autumnal day. Have I got an evening ahead of me?
There you go.
Fucking hell. What makes LCD Soundsystem stand out to their contemporaries?
I think it's not to say that other bands weren't at the time, but I don't think I've heard such an example of someone being so honest with themselves. And I would pair that with an interview that I always watch whenever I sort of struggle and feel shit about myself, with James Murphy, where he's trying to get a foot in the door in the New York scene and things aren't really happening, and he's DJing and he's like, it's where Losing My Edge comes from basically, where he's like, I'm losing my edge to better looking people with more talent, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're really lovely. It's like, I'm doing something wrong. I love that line. And there's an interview with him where he says, I was lazy, but lazy never felt right when I said that. He said, I never got any sort of credence for being hardworking or diligent. He said, all my talents were based on natural attributes I had no control over. It's like someone coming up to you and saying, congratulations, you're tall. What do you even do with that? And then I was so scared of failing and looking bad that I eventually did nothing. And I was like, oh my Christ, that man has summed up how I felt my whole life in 30 seconds. And you think, oh, this is going to be really depressing. And then he goes, but then I started to engage in stuff and I just wrote honestly and from the heart. And I think that's what separates it from me, is like I hear him say things that I identify with, but also what he's going through. And he paints that picture so well. Like Losing My Edge is a great example.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he really, like you say about the gentrification, does a good job of filtering out that kind of fake hipster thing that people were celebrating at the time and weren't really realizing that they were the butt of the joke. And he's making this music from a really raw and honest perspective, and I think that only gets better and more honest with each album.
We talk about the rawness and the honesty on it, like you don't know how right you are. He talks about it quite a lot in the film, in the bathroom and in the book, where he basically lost his best friend making that song. Like they had such an argument about it, where his friend said, this is shit, you're making a terrible mistake here, do not release this song. It was his like partner mate at DFA Records, I forget his name now, it's gone, but yeah, he literally put his heart into that song, vulnerable, honest, open, and his friend just said, I can't stand by this, and they sort of split ways basically. So you talk about being honest, fucking put it all out there.
Exactly, yeah. And it really, I think that's the case of all art really, isn't it? It's like
believed it enough to want to sacrifice a friendship to get his message across.
And I've had that before where like, I don't know if I'm doing it, or like I would deliberately filter stuff because there's an older audience in and they won't get what I'm talking about.
Right.
And then also that's a bit like, well, who are you to say that they won't get that? But also at the same time, it's like, why are you cutting off your nose to spite your face when you've barely even like walked on stage in front of these people? Yeah. And I completely get that. But at the same time, he's so good at like, he's really trying to like make an impact, and he's doing things that people younger are doing. It's like there's that great bit where he's like, I hear you're buying an arpeggiator and selling your guitars because you want to make a Yaz record. I love that line. That's so good.
I mean, it's infinitely quotable.
Oh yeah,
it's just
fantastic.
It's like an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. You can pick anything from that line that still holds up. I was the first guy at a Cannes show in Cologne. Really makes me laugh. I was there when Captain Beefheart released his debut album. I said, don't do it that way, you'll never make a dime.
Yeah.
So funny.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Let's get to the songs, actually. You mentioned Losing My Edge. What's the worst bit of the album, James? What's the worst bit of this incredible and near flawless album?
Is there?
I would have struggled to answer that question, but I listened to the album on the drive up here today.
Okay.
Sound of Silver.
Oh, no. No.
I'm not saying it's a shit song.
Okay.
I'm saying it's the weakest on this album. It feels a little bit aimless. The hook bit's pretty good. The Sound of Silver, talk to me, is of course fantastic.
Yeah.
The rest of the song's a bit meandering. There it is. I've found a flaw.
That I love the makes you want to feel like a teenager.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Relatable. Get it.
It's missing a big riff somewhere. It feels a bit plonky and aimless.
There's the sort of piano breakdown and that.
Oh, the big
and then
the big chord bit's good. That bit's good.
But
there's a whole lot of other song.
Okay.
So there you go. That's me being mean.
Okay.
Throw some more fuel on this fire if you wish.
I wouldn't say it's like bad, but it's something that like I'd say maybe us versus them.
Get in the fucking bin, mate. Fucking brilliant song.
Because I wanted to say that about Sound of Silver, but I wasn't
quite as
confident enough. That's interesting though. Okay. I love one that I found really underrated and I've grown to appreciate over time is Time to Get Away.
Yeah.
And that reminds me that's a bit data rocky, I think. That reminds me of that sort of archetypal dance punk indie kind of thing. It reminds me of that, like Rapture.
That's actually probably their most punk / danceable, isn't it? I think. Because sometimes they'll just do one. That's a really great example of them doing both. Is it a funk song? Then suddenly it's proper loud guitars.
Absolutely.
And it's done so effortlessly, I think.
That's one I've grown to really appreciate over time. But yeah, I think Watch the Tapes is a great one.
Really good fun.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Us versus Them, maybe that's just sort of like, for me, not got lost in the ether, but it's sort of one that I'm like, that's really interesting though, because I love Sound of Silver.
Hey, we're just two men with different opinions.
Exactly. Yeah, that's okay. Fine.
That's okay.
If this was a football podcast, we would be at each other's throats going, "You're an idiot, bloody moron.
You're wrong because of XP or XG or something, or fucking possession.
You've never played a game in your life." Yes, I know Luke Thompson in Year 9, and I'm sorry about that.
Let's be more positive here. What's the best bit of this incredible album, James?
That's like, which...
Pick your favourite child.
Yeah, which eyeball do I want to keep? Okay, there's 3 contenders. North American Scum being number 1. I think that song's fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic. It annoys me that the music video uses like a shortened version by like 90 seconds, but I understand why. There's also All My Friends, Someone Great. However, for me, I think New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down is one of the best songs written of all time. And if you had to put a gun to my head and say, choose your favourite song, that would definitely be one of maybe 3 choices, I think. I think what he manages to capture about how he feels about his hometown, and probably what we all feel about our hometowns to a certain degree once we get older, is done in such like scathing criticism, but so lovingly as well. He spends 2 verses slagging off what New York has become to then bring it all back together and say, but you're still the one pool where I'd happily drown. Jesus Christ. Talk about like going back to your hometown and having mixed feelings. What a lyricist.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like the way that song progresses, the way the drums come in, the way the bass comes in, and it all crescendos into this, maybe I'm right, maybe you're wrong. And it a bit like how again you mentioned in the intro, Christmas Will Break Your Heart. There's a similar thing. That's a wonderful Christmas song that ends up in this big whirlwind of a crescendo, and then it stops and you think it's done, and then the sort of quiet piano plays, and then it fades back in and you get the last bit of the drum. For me, that is the one of the most perfect songs I've ever heard, and no amount of replayability will ever make that feel tiresome for me. I will always get goosebumps. I will always feel emotional connection to that song. So I think for me, the closer, I think New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down is fantastic.
Well, it's a lovely answer, but it's the wrong answer.
Okay.
The correct answer is, of course, All My Friends. But thanks for playing along.
Sorry, no, it's all right. That's so funny. I've poured my heart out for 2 minutes about why I love a song. You're factually wrong.
You're actually wrong.
All My Friends is great, though. My Friends is...
Yeah, it's the best song of all time. It's funny, because New Look, I Love You, it's a beautiful song. I love that song, but I don't ever need to hear it regularly. It's not one I sort of feel the urge to come back to. Whenever it sort of gets played live, and it's amazing and it's beautiful, but I'm not sat in the car going, oh, put on New York, I Love You. You know what I mean? I've got a different sort of relationship like that.
My wife calls that my like slice of life. she's like, if we watch a film or something, or it's my turn to pick, or like she's like, you like slice of life stuff, don't you? And I'm like, yes. And I was that kid at Pat House
What do you
Party.
mean by that, slice of life?
So like things that are a bit too, like I think All My Friends balances it really well. It's a really good dance record that you can sort of, you know, grab your friends around by the shoulder and like have a moment. And you know, I wouldn't trade one stupid decision for another 5 years of life. It's amazing. But at the same time, manages to be a really nice, lovely, uplifting song. Whereas I was the kid at the house parties who put like "Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now" on. Or like, that joke isn't funny anymore.
That stacks up.
Guys, listen to what he's saying though, because it's important. And in 10 years' time, we'll be this.
You mentioned the communal experience of being with friends there. Tell me a bit. Have you watched LCD Soundsystem live before?
I have.
Tell me everything.
Oh, it's a bit of a tragic tale, I think, in hindsight. So they split up in 2012, don't they? They do that last show at Madison Square Garden. The film of that, by the way, is
phenomenal,
amazing. When they have like a moment with Arcade Fire.
Yeah, North American.
Yeah,
it
is.
Is it Drunk Girls or North American Strong?
I think they do both.
Is that what it is? Okay.
But there's a moment they have before they go, which is like really lovely and tender. And like, there's that bit with their manager as well. During that.
Yeah,
it's just.
It is a really good
There's
film.
the shot of that kid crying as
well.
Yeah,
I know, during Home.
Yeah.
I've been that kid.
Yeah.
I've been that guy.
It was like, I can't believe... And I can't believe I've sort of been introduced to this band and they're calling it a day.
Well, that's exactly what happened with me. Though I was very much of the right age for this, I was very late to LCD Soundsystem.
Right.
I was post-breakup, I think, really.
Oh, okay.
I was sort of just got into them around the time of them splitting up.
Yeah.
And felt like I missed my shot. Thought I was never going to see them. And I remember on Christmas 2016, my little brother... Yeah, 2016, wasn't it? My little brother got me all 3 of their albums to that point on vinyl.
Oh,
what
amazing.
a lovely Christmas Day gift that was. And but I didn't know I was getting them until later in the day. Christmas morning, I woke up and I'd seen a bunch of texts come through. There's a new LCD Soundsystem song. Christmas Will Break Your Heart was released on that morning. I was like, fuck me. Oh my God, it's beautiful. What an incredible way to start Christmas morning. Couldn't believe it, very exciting. Then a few hours later, my brother got me these 3 records. Like, oh my God, the LCD Soundsystem Christmas. It was amazing.
Amazing.
So it was really good. And it was just a really, really exciting year when they came back and they'd done that Coachella show. It was like, people stay up late to watch the boxing or the wrestling or something. That was my version of that. I sort of set my alarm for 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something and woke up and watched it on my
fantastic.
laptop. It was really good. Opened with Get Innocuous.
Oh, yes.
It was class.
I love that. I love that song because it's banned from our Christmas playlist because it's too depressing.
It's how I start every Christmas morning. I put it on every Christmas morning. That's the first thing I do.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have a Christmas I created a Christmas playlist when I was sort of 15 called "Acting Happy at Disappointing Presents," and it's got that on. It's got like the Crooks, You Just Like Christmas. It's got I Wish It Was Christmas Today. All the sort of classic indie.
Naturally.
But that song is. Christmas will lay you down. Christmas will shove you down, so lay back in the snow. That quiet wind won't wait for what inside you has grown cold. How can you pen that in?
Well, the thing is, there's a version of that song that's about 15 minutes long.
Oh,
apparently,
wow.
He kept writing verse after verse after verse, and had to sort of whittle it down. So it's like there's a lot of verses out there that are on the cutting room floor.
Oh,
could you imagine what we're missing out on?
Release that should be like the Boxing Day cut or something. It should be you release it. But that was very exciting, wasn't it? Because you thought, and around that point as well, maybe that was the start of bands splitting up and then getting back together a few years later. Because there's 4 years in between them splitting up and getting back together.
I think it's more than 5. That. I think 6 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. About 5 or 6. Yeah.
And then they drop something like that, and you're like, it's a great song, but also you're saying to your mates, like, hello.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Something's on the cards here.
It was only about a month, I guess it would have been. That was the Christmas comeback, and they'd done a post about it saying, we're not getting back together, it's just something that we did together. And then about 3 weeks later, they announced the Coachella comeback.
Yep.
And then I saw them that year at Primavera Sound, and that was the first time I'd watched
wow.
Soundsystem. Seen them a lot. I've probably seen them about 10 times now, but I hadn't seen them at all until
10 times.
I can't miss them. Whenever they're sort of in London or whatever, I just go every fucking
See, that's
time.
that's the beauty of living in like London, I suppose, is that
true.
You have so much, and that's not a note. That is by no means a compliment. I think it's amazing that you've got like. I remember me and my wife went on a sort of mini honeymoon because we love going to the cinema because we're cool people. And we did all the sort of like Curzon Soho, Prince Charles.
Yeah.
And then I got quite
teary. Great, aren't they? They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
And I got quite teary standing outside Coco. Like, Block Party played here.
Honest to God, right? So when the Coco reopened, we went there to watch. First band I watched there would have been Confidence Man.
Oh wow! Oh cool.
Probably about 4 years ago. I can't remember what it was now. Maybe less than that. And have you been there before?
No, to watch anything. No,
it's
I've
incredible.
Just been outside. Okay.
So when you walk in, you have to go through this little tunnel before you get into the main theatre. And my brother calls it the best walk in indie. And he'd done the old sort of footballing, sort of arms crossed, touch the ground,
so
down on his
good.
knees, sort of like proper sacred ground. We were there like every Friday night in 2006.
Oh wow.
Unmissable. And then you go there for like a couple of random other gigs as well. But like, it's an incredible room. And
cool.
it really is quite safe. I understand why you cry outside of it. Don't worry, you're in very safe hands here.
Okay, cool. I need to go. Because was the counterpoint to that, like Fabric, was that also pretty big at the time?
It was, but that was a different world. That was probably the first club I went to. My other brother took me to Fabric when I was 17 to a drum and bass night.
Right, okay.
DJ Hype, True Players. That was an experience, I don't mind telling you.
Okay.
It was fucking lunatic, man. So that was good, but yeah, I definitely felt like Coco was my world.
Yeah.
And
especially around that time as well.
I still couldn't get my head around it, because my world of going clubbing was drum and bass, to a certain extent, sort of suburban, cheesy, WKD sort of clubs.
Yeah.
Where you dance to house music. I didn't understand how you dance to indie music.
Yes.
So walking in there for the first time to Coco, I remember it. They played, the first song I heard as I walked in was Kilimanjaro Baby Shambles.
Amazing.
Second song was Arctic Monkeys' Faked House of San Francisco.
Oh.
And it was an Ordinary Boys song. I can't remember which one it was, but at that time, they were the three biggest things in my world. And I just thought, I cannot believe this world exists.
Yeah.
And you can dance to it with 2,500 people.
You'd never go to the bar.
Everyone's so fit. It's just amazing. Everyone's so much cooler than you. It was amazing.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was really cool.
There was a place when I started uni. I think it's still at 42s in Manchester, and I think that was more sort of your stereotypical like
Student Unite,
Oasis.
Okay, right.
Blur, Libertines, still great stuff.
Sure.
And like Cortinas and stuff like that.
Bit more radio friendly, maybe.
Yes, yeah, but like Radio X-ish.
Yeah. Because at Coco, like, they'd want to play like new cool stuff.
Yeah.
It was okay for you not to know every single word, you know what I mean?
Yes.
There was a bit of it towards the end of the night, you'd play the Strokes or whatever, but you'd also hear like Test Icicles.
Oh, amazing.
Or something like that, you know what I mean?
That just reminded me of the fellow, Lightspeed Champion.
Yeah.
Another great band.
Covered that on a previous podcast. Very in the orbit of this podcast.
Was it stick a spoon into your heart and eat away your Deutschmarks? I think about that line every day. Anyway, which had the drummer Anna Pryor.
From Metronomy.
One of my favourite. Another one of my favourite. Anyway, but there was nothing really like sort of Coco equivalent. There was the Smiths Disco, which is iconic, which I went to once and was amazing, but also very scared. And there was places like at the Ruby Lounge that would play like what Coco was sort of trying to do, but there was never really like a fixed sort of night that was playing like New York stuff or things like that. And so in 2016 they do that. I mean, do they release Call the Police an American Dream as
that would have been a year or two afterwards, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but they released them both together, didn't
yes.
they? Yeah, that's right.
Because I always thought it was Oh Baby, but not. That's the lead single off the album, isn't it? And then when they announced American Dream, I was like, oh, like I had a similar thing when like a new Scream movie came out. I'm like, I'm getting to like experience what I wanted to experience, and this is amazing. And my friend at uni was like, can you believe it? I was like, no, this is fantastic, this is amazing. And then they announced a show in Manchester.
Yes, and the show you saw, yes.
Sorry, I've gone on. I'm such a tangent. I do apologise.
Please.
So I got tickets to see them. I think it was maybe June or July 2017 at Victoria Warehouse in Manchester.
Oh wow!
Now, yes, I'd been a year prior to seeing New Order with one of my best friends. Very good. However, and I didn't know why New Order did this. They didn't come on until midnight. So I didn't know...
Did you know that?
No. So I didn't... Until we got there. So I didn't know the layout of Victoria Warehouse particularly well. And it's like for those who haven't been, it's your archetypal, like, rave club.
Yeah.
They play a lot of dance music there.
It's more of a nightclub than a gig venue, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Warehouse Project is probably its best-known night. People like Bicep and Camel Fat and all that jazz.
It's a room that works really well for that kind of thing.
Yes, sure. Yeah. And you think LCD Soundsystem would be like a natural fit. And I saw New Order there with my best mate. But yeah, they went on to like midnight. But they were good. I think Joe Garner from Hot Chip did DJ set. And we were like, this is great, but it's midnight. And like I know we were like 18 and we probably, nowhere near as tired as I am now. But
you changed your plans for the evening.
Yeah.
You then can't relax because like you're expecting...
We got there at 7.
That's a long way
for doors at 8.
Yeah.
Whereas now, when I go to go, I'm like, I want to get there. I want to know when they're on, so I know how to get home. And I know
exactly.
It's
That's more than fair.
The pains of getting old. So I completely forgot this as well during LCD Soundsystem, and I was working at Chester Zoo at the time. Finished, got changed, got the train to Manchester. Forgot again. Had to I didn't drive then, so my mum and dad had to pick me up because I was in work the next day.
Yeah, right.
So LCD Soundsystem didn't come on until 1. And my mum and dad
it would have been great if you knew you were signing up to that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But you didn't.
And my mum and dad were like, "We're outside," and I went, "It's 11 p.m. and they've not come on yet."
Fuck.
So I think they had to either drive home or drive somewhere and just figure out what to do while I was supposedly having to have the best night of my life. And I don't thrive well in those sort of nightclubby locations.
Right.
And you mentioned about chubby IT staff in the intro. There was a lot of that vibe.
Yeah,
but
sure.
kind of being a bit aggressive.
Right.
And kind of pushing and shoving. And I was like, I don't know if it's the gig for that.
Yeah.
But apparently it was. And they were amazing. And I've got a very blurry photo on my old Samsung that I've transferred over of James Murphy's face. And then midway through the gig, I forgot what they were playing, but they stop midway through. And he goes, listen. I don't mind you taking photos, but please turn the fucking flash off. And I was like, oh God, he's pissed off. And I think he was a bit for the rest of the gig.
Really?
And people, because people just sort of taking photos left, right and centre, which is a bit of a bugbear of mine.
Yeah, sure.
I think maybe take a snap. No one's going to grill you the next day in work if you were there. No one's going to come in and go, were you there at LCD Soundsystem? Prove it. And you have to get your phone out and go, there you go. All right, okay, you're cool. No one's asked. You don't have to take a photo. You can do a post, that's fine, but you don't have to fucking exercise it to the world with 10 Instagram stories of the set list. So yeah, there was a bit of a weird vibe, and it was late, and it felt like I was a kid and I was staying out well past being my bedtime, and I was like, this is a bit moody.
An uncomfortable LCD experience.
So it was a little bit, but it was still great to hear home, and it was great to hear someone great.
Yeah.
They didn't. I think they did New York I Love You the previous night and didn't do it the following night, which was a bit gutting, but. I like that. I like that they were able to chop and change and on the fly and mix stuff. And the way they transition into songs live. And it's such a whole different experience because, for an album that relies a lot on tech and keyboard, the way they do that live was really interesting. And a real emphasis on live playing as well. Very
much so. Zero backing track at an LCD show, baby.
Drums were fantastic. There were elements of it that were really good. But it was marred a little bit by... fan behavior, which ultimately, I can't be a complete dick about or snob about because it does happen. But I've always said I'd love to see them again in a different in fact when they're not on at 1 a.m.
Sure. I had a similar experience actually because I saw him on that same tour, Joe Goddard supporting him.
Yeah,
I saw him at Ali Pali on a Saturday night.
Oh yes.
But I had work the next morning.
Okay.
Right. Here's the thing though, I was working at Heathrow at the time. I started work at 5 a.m. So I had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
So it was a wicked night, obviously pretty sober night. And it was really cool. You mentioned Us First then. What they did, they had a DJ on after Joe Goddard. And it was obviously, he ended his set on a certain BPM because the drummer basically mixed with the DJ.
Amazing.
So the drums that open Us versus them, there was no gap. Sort of segued into it. And the DJ just sort of faded out, beat matched to Pat's drumming.
That's
so cool. So cool. But obviously, a bit of a difficult, aggy night for myself, a bit anxious about the next day at work, and God, I'm in all kinds of fucking trouble, Jesus Christ. And the maddest thing happened, where the first person I served that morning was a guy that came off a New York flight. He was wearing an LCD Soundsystem t-shirt.
No way.
Yeah. I said, mate, you've no idea how happy it's made me seeing you in that t-shirt. I'm in all kinds of trouble today because of that fucking badge you're wearing.
What were you doing at Heathrow?
I sold train tickets for the Heathrow Express.
Oh,
I basically
cool.
stood next to a podium for... It's not cool. I stood next to a podium for 8 hours saying, hello, sir, would you like a train ticket?
Oh, okay.
But as a result, I've met every single famous person you could think of. I've got hundreds of selfies of me and famous people, including... James Murphy.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you when we get to the pub after this.
We have to talk about this.
Let's do it.
Fragrance. No, I'm joking. What was he like?
Polite enough. Was he full of warmth? I wouldn't say so. He was doing... You remember he done Dispatchio? Are you familiar with Dispatchio sound system?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen him a few times, actually. Some at Glastonbury, All Points East, and the best one was at the Roundhouse. Oh my God, it was so fucking good. This 360 sound system, the DJ booth sort of tucked away. So it's James Murphy and the guys from Soul Wax. and she plays disco at a very slow BPM.
Oh, cool.
And the lighting's amazing. The sound system is just phenomenal. And he was on his way to do that. I was like, oh my God, James, I'm coming to see you at the show tonight. I can't wait. He goes, oh, it's great, man. Look forward to seeing you there. And that was about it. He wasn't going, he's James Murphy.
That's awesome.
But it was pretty cool going, fucking hell, I'll see you in a couple of hours on the dance floor, buddy.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I could go on for hours. I've got loads of
I can't wait for that.
famous people. Yeah.
How do you approach it? Because
Well, for example, when I saw Sven-Göran Eriksson, I always said, Sven, loved the last album. Can I you adjust, you adapt, you try and think of a niche B-side or
yes.
You try and prove your credibility as quick as you can.
Yeah, I would lead with that, because then that makes them think, oh, they're not
some bozo.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's people that aren't that famous that go, oh my God, I can't believe you know who I am.
Yeah.
For example, I had Sunflower Bean on the podcast. I don't know if you know Sunflower Bean.
Yes.
Three-piece guitar band, really cool. But I met them at the airport probably about a decade ago, and I reminded them of that when I met them on the podcast. It's like, fuck, that's so crazy, because we've only ever been recognised at the airport twice in like 15 years of being a band or whatever, and I was one of them.
So
it's
way.
not as if it's always A-listers, but it often has been.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's bands that are just so happy that someone knows who they are. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool. It's so nice, cool. And they're nice as well. Like I like Edgar Wright is my hero. I love him, and I heard him tell a story about when he met Mick Jagger. And he only had like 10 seconds with him.
Yeah,
and he asked him about the weather. And he went, what? And he went, oh, the wet. Yeah, freezing. And then he went, big fan, by the way. And that was it. And he's like, and I was like, okay, like, I know if I did meet him, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you've made some of the most amazing films and it's been such a cultural touchstone of my life. And I'd just be like, big fan, by the way. But it's nice to know that like other people...
Everyone's got it in them still.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it's nice to know that James Murphy was really like, I think I'd melt into the pavement.
Yeah, it's happened before. I've lost my bottle a few times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This rush of adrenaline, go, oh my God, what the fuck do I say to
exactly.
insert famous person?
How do you
here? I don't always get it right, James. I don't mind telling you.
I went to see Yard Act, who are one of my favourite bands, and the guitarist was just chilling in the sort of garden area. And my friend who I went with, who's a music journalist, went, should we just go over and talk to him? I went, nah, he went, come on. And he went, oh, this is James. He does like stand up. I'm like, and he was lovely, Sam. He was really nice. And then Bill Ryder Jones is one of my heroes, was over there, and I went to meet him and went, your music meant a lot to me. And he gave me a kiss on the cheek. I was like, sometimes it can go really well.
It can go really well.
Other times I can imagine it can.
There was the Morrissey incident.
Have you met Morrissey?
I've met Morrissey.
Oh, have you covered this on the pod? Oh, okay.
It didn't go very well. I said, he's coming from Morrissey. My goodness, such a big fan. And his guitarist, I think it was, goes, no photos, out of the way. I was like, I didn't even go for the photo. I just sort of put my hand up.
Yeah.
Said, hello, big fan. I probably wouldn't have asked for a photo because I know how badly it would have gone.
Exactly. Morrissey off limits.
Before I even said 2 words, it was shut down by this big furry guy. So
that's horrible, because I suppose he's like used to...
Yes, so he's not appreciating someone saying how much they love his art.
Exactly. He's not. If you mention a B-side to him, he's just probably going to go, oh,
well, of course.
Yeah. But to be like out the way, that's
it was pretty abrasive. But also, the thing was in that job that I'm seeing people at their very worst.
Exactly.
They've had a fucking 16-hour flight.
Yeah.
They're drunk, they're hungover, they're tired, they're grumpy. Trust me, no one owes me their time.
Yeah, the last thing they want is probably
this fucking bozo
to list off like. But I think that might make their day. I'm forever an optimist in a pessimistic world.
Welcome to the podcast. Right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
I'm going to ask you a big question. What would your 60-second elevator pitch for this album be to someone that is uninitiated, James?
I would say to them, listen, that feeling of warm fuzziness you get inside from the perfect cup of tea that's been made, or the first forkful of a lovely meal at a Michelin star restaurant. Imagine that, but sonically. This album will nourish you, it will energize you, it will make you get in touch with your emotions in a way that you've never felt before. This album will transform your life. Thank me later.
That was fucking class.
There you go.
Have you ever cried listening to this album?
Oh, here we go. Have you got a spare 2 hours? Yeah.
I will start charging, actually.
North American Scum made me cry in a really nice way, because I had listened to the album in prep for like going to New York, and obviously that song mentions New York, and it made me feel very excited because it was like, it's sort of what I imagine it's like the millennial New York for me in many ways. It was like, cool, like this is the modern version of that. I'm very excited. I've cried at Sound of Silver as I've got older, because that whole thing of like, until you remember the feelings of a teenager, then you'll think again. And that's a bit like, oh yeah, rose-tinted glasses. But yeah, New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down has made me cry on more than one occasion. I can probably say more than 10 times, whether I'm blindsided by it on a long drive on the motorway, at home, walking around, just listening to it. That song has the ability to, sort of turn on the walls. And it's not even it's a weird thing, because it's not even about like it's about hometowns, I guess, and like your relationship with that. But there's an added layer to that. Like maybe I think the arrangement.
It's a song about change.
Exactly, yeah. And how
you can't control.
Exactly, and how you deal with that, and things aren't what they once were. And that is shit. Yeah. That is fundamental. No one likes change. It's horrible. So yeah, I think that one in particular. We've not even discussed All My Friends as well.
Touched upon the best song of all
time. I know, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that as well. As I said, I mentioned that lyric about I wouldn't trade one stupid decision for.
That's the big line of me and my mates as well. So much so that one Christmas, one of my best mates, Sam, lived together for about 10 years. That's his favourite song as well, as it is for all of our friends, really. All my friends. And I got him a T-shirt printed that just said I wouldn't change one stupid decision for another 5 years of life.
That's amazing.
Pretty class. Pretty much, the first few times we saw him at least anyway, my little brother said, no matter what happens, I want me, you, Sam, Charlie, in a circle, huddling for the I wouldn't change one stupid decision line, okay?
Oh, that's lovely.
But pretty much every time we've seen him now, all of our mates, we all get in a big circle, jump up and down for All My Friends, together, as one. It's fucking beautiful. Oh. It doesn't get better than that. If I've made a fool, then there's always. I love that. There's always this. It's sort of a lovely song about just like throwing due course to the wind and like just owning up and being. It's just lovely. It's just it's the memory of our betters. Well, there's just lovely like little. It's endless little vignettes, aren't they?
Yeah, just like this is just poetry.
Matt, what's his name? Matty Healy. I'm not sure if you're a fan or not, but he said something very wise about this song. It's the thinking man's Mr. Brightside.
Oh.
How's that?
How's
that sit with you?
Yeah.
It's what cool people play at the end of a wedding instead of Mr. Brightside. And that's what me and my friends do. That's how we end our big moments.
Dave Masterman, who does the John Roberts and Ellis James show, he has a night, doesn't he, called
That's right, All My Friends. Yeah, exactly.
Which is based, and I think that's really lovely that like that song's found its. Yeah, that's a really good point. That because Mr. Brightside is kind of like the backup national anthem, isn't it? Really,
absolutely.
I know,
and rightfully so.
Yeah, it's got its place, but yeah, I think that deals with it from a position that's very sort of one-sided. Whereas if you listen to the lyrics, All My Friends kind of is a universal experience, I think, and it's just a phenomenal song. My friend did one photo a day for the length of that song, and it was amazing. I got very emotional watching that. But yeah, and the way it crests, but the way it reaches that pinnacle, sort of similar to what we've talked about with New York, I Love You, and Christmas Will Break Your Heart. Yeah, they're great at that.
They're good at that.
Really good at like sort of gathering all this evidence and then poof, building up at one moment. Exactly, yeah, and then you're like, wow, I'm crying.
Would you like a silly question?
Yes, go for it.
How many stupid decisions would you trade for another 5 years of life?
Loads.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
James is poetic and all, but another 5 years of life to change one stupid decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah, I think my life expectancy would increase by I emailed a girl a poem once.
Fuck me. If you could take that back, right?
Oh, mate. It was something like, trying to obtain your love, I tried my best, but was trickier than a GCSE maths test. When I see you, my heart, does it flip? You're the YouTube advert I don't want to skip.
And you're telling me that One Way Road, or whatever they were fucking called, didn't succeed with lyrics like that in your back pocket, James?
It was a very much, kind of Maccabee's approach to trying to...
sincerity.
And emailing as well.
Bit unromantic,
modern way. Yeah. Write it on paper, or don't write it at all. Yeah, I then wrote a poem in the shape of the Unknown Pleasures album cover.
Oh God!
And my English teacher found my mum and asked if everyone was all right at home. But yeah, I would trade a lot of stupid decisions.
Yeah. How much lemon sip do you think you'd have to take to get high?
Well, I had one yesterday actually, and I did get a bit of a buzz on.
Oh, so one.
So yeah, I'm a big lightweight,
sure,
which is great because cheap, round and all that. But yeah, I mean, no one's buying lemsip of it at a pub. But yeah, I think one lemsip for me would get me high.
This has been class.
It's been great, hasn't it?
This has been a lot of fun. Is there anything we've not covered that you'd like to mention? Any moments, memories, thoughts, feelings?
I think I feel like people might feel a bit shortchanged that we haven't discussed All My Friends at length, but I think that song really speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And I think, like I mentioned before, and the whole night based around it now, I think if you did have to define them, that song's a really good contender. But also, like, This Is Happening as well.
We can cover that another day, my man. There's a whole other conversation to be had there. Right then, James, you still got a bit of legs in you?
Yes, let's do this.
Thank God, because we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Of fair play guys or fuck those guys.
Okay, cool.
We're going to look at an end of year list from the year this album was released, 2007. What a year.
Amazing.
And we are going to say how it compares to the almighty Sound of Silver. Now, normally I do a top 20 end of year list. I started writing this list from one backwards and turned out to be a top 10. Which, given the time we've been speaking for, probably works out for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the Guardian's top 10 albums of 2007. Where do you think Sound of Silver charted on this end-of-year list?
2007. Well, what's its compared to? Under the Iron Sea? Yours truly, Angry Mob. I think it's in the top 3. I'm going to say number 3.
Shall we find out?
Yes, let's do this.
At 10. Oh, by the way, you've got to say, basically fair play guys or fuck those guys.
Okay.
So at 10, you've mentioned them. Arcade Fire with Neon Bible.
Not my favourite album, but fair play guys.
Fair play guys is fair. At 9, Burial, Untrue. Dubstep Pioneer.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. There it is. At 8, Arctic Monkeys' favourite worst nightmare.
Fair play, guys.
Obviously, it's Arctic Monkeys. At 7, another band you've mentioned, it's Radiohead with the groundbreaking In Rainbow.
Yeah, fair play, guys. Fair play.
I think we're going to have that all day long. At 6, someone I'm not familiar with and pronouncing this is going to be a fucking minefield. Are you sat down? Tinariwen Aman Iman.
Never heard of it, but fair play. Good on you.
Good answer. At 5, Dizzy Rascal. Maths and English.
Is that Bonkers? Or is that after?
Bonkers a bit later, I think. 08, 09, right. That would have been maybe.
Yeah. If it's pre-Bonkers, fair play.
We're having it. At 4, you've heard of them. LCD Soundsystem with Sound of Silver. At 4, the best album of all time, potentially. It's the 4th best album of the year. How's that sit with you? How's that make you feel?
Well, it'd be interesting to see what comes after it, but 4...
That's the game, baby. That's where the fun's at. 4,
yeah. I think that's a bit...
Guardian. I'm going to bring down my left-wing opinions. Yeah, absolutely.
Who'd have been doing this list at the time? Alexis Petridis?
Well, he's still doing it now.
Is he?
He's fucking very much the guy there still, isn't he? So was he doing it in 2007? All I know is there's some explaining to do, because at number 3, it's Kings of Leon, Because of the Times.
Now, I will defend that on the opinion that most people have, which is those first 3 are like really good.
Yes, they are.
And then it's the one after
2008 is when things started going south.
Yeah. So
07, it's a good album, man. It's a big album.
I don't think that should be higher than Sound of Silver, though. So I'm going to say fuck those guys.
You've got it completely correct.
Yeah.
At 2, it's a really, really, really good album. Jamie T, Panic Prevention.
Oh.
What an album. Oh, my God. Oh. Does James agree? I'm still not sure yet. He's groaning.
That's Sheila. That's If You Got the Money. Mm-hmm. That's El Salvador. Back in the game. Shaka
Alicia
Davis.
Keys. No, Shaka Davis is second album.
Oh, is it? All right. Yeah, that's fair play. I've seen him. He's great. I love Jamie T.
One of the best to ever do it. At number 1, I'll be honest with you, I was surprised by this. The Good, the Bad and the Queen with the self-titled The Good, the Bad and the Queen. If the listeners could see James's face right now.
Oh, is this because they were like a sort of super group?
I think the heavyweights involved in the group are doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that chart.
Against Sound of Silver.
Against Jamie T.
Fuck
Against
them.
Arctic Monkey.
Yeah,
Fuck
favourite
off,
Worst Nightmare where? Number 8.
Number 8. In Rainbows at number
7. Yeah, that's whoever they need.
Podiatrist,
Yeah.
Podiatrist,
yeah.
You're in the fucking bin.
That
Fuck
is
that guy.
Absolutely woeful. For the most part, I was thinking, do you know what? I'm wading my way through this. It's not
really
bad.
Strong.
But
what a disappointment. I can't even tell one of their songs in all honesty.
Nor could I.
Albarn's best.
No. Even the stuff it does.
What a sour note to finish this wonderful conversation on, James. This has been really fun, and then I've just gone and ruined it.
No, it's not. It's not your fault. It's the hands of those in charge of critical things.
I'd say. Well, look, let's move on.
Yeah.
The floor is yours. Would you like to plug or promote anything you'd like the world to know about?
You can follow me on all social media at James Allen 27. That's birthday date, because I couldn't think of anything good to put as a username. So follow me on there for all sort of comedy stuff. You follow at Cultras Pod on all social media, football podcast I mentioned. And even if you're not a football fan, give it a go, because we're not yet archetypal football podcast. And yeah, I update my social media with where I'm gigging. And yeah, keep up to date and come and see me at a live show and say, hey, I agree with you. Sound of Silver should have been number 1.
Well, look, I have been William Hann. He's been James Allen. They've been LCD Soundsystem. And this has been This Album.